Go free speech. So Donald Trump Jr. was invited to speak as part of a lecture series that is financed by a donor to the University of North Texas. And his coming to Dallas, he's actually going to be at the AT&T Stadium, was by special arrangement, and his actual fee is being paid for by a donor, but then of course there are other costs associated that are coming from the University of North Texas. And there's been a controversy surrounding or questioning whether we should have brought him to campus. And this is part of a larger controversy that's going on college campuses across the country regarding freedom of speech and what it means to have an open campus. It has been the case since time immemorial regarding free speech issues that we have a tendency to want to be supportive of free speech if we agree with what the speaker is saying. The much harder issue is when you disagree with someone whose speech is being brought forward. And so that's why there's this phenomenon of speech for me but not for thee. Like, my speech is good but your speech is bad. And so it's into that fray that Donald Trump Jr. has stepped. So the reality is that if you look at free speech across college campuses, like, I can't just speak to the University of North Texas, but if you look at speeches across the campus world, there have long been these issues of free speech on campus and whether a speaker was conservative or a speaker was liberal. And so this is not a controversy that has just formed since Donald Trump Jr. decided to come to town. This has been a controversy that has been going on since the 1960s. And you have to look individually at every campus about whether or not they are too liberal or too conservative. During my day, there was a controversy surrounding a very liberal speaker who was being brought into one of the New York campuses because he had argued that persons of color were superior to persons who were white or who didn't have color. And as you can imagine, that can be a very controversial topic. And so this issue of how professors speak in their classes or what speakers you bring to campus and whether they're conservative or liberal has long been a debate since the 60s. This is one of those issues of academic freedom, and the reality is that it would be difficult to sanction those professors for having spoken out and being opposed, because certainly they have free speech rights, but there are also free speech rights for Donald Trump Jr. to be able to come and speak. One of the things about the way in which in American democracy we have resolved this tension of free speech for me and not for thee is that we have a marketplace of ideas, and that the marketplace is opened up to a broad array of folks. And so the same principle that protects Donald Trump Jr. and his ability to speak as part of a UNT discussion is also the same principle in theory that allows the faculty to speak.